Do you worry about speaking too loudly and then losing your voice? You know, your voice is your primary tool for expressing your ideas and your vision. So when you lose it, it becomes difficult or impossible to communicate effectively, and it might lead to miscommunications, delays, or certainly misunderstandings. In this episode, I'm going to give you 7 precautions that you can take so that you never lose your voice. The first one is to use proper breath support. Proper breath support is the foundation of powerful speech. And if you don't use good breath support, you may be applying a lot of tension around the area of the larynx, which is actually going to impede the sound that you make, but eventually could also give you a different sound or create some vocal abuse just by not using good breath support. Good breath support comes from the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle that's below your rib cage. And to know if you're using it or not, what you can do is take a deep breath in with your hands on your stomach and see if your hands come out when you take that breath. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, and my hands really expand on my stomach and then come down as I exhale. That's really what you need, that kind of support. If you are lifting your shoulders like this to take a breath, you are not using good breath support. So that's one thing you should check for sure. Make sure you're taking deep belly breaths and getting the right breath support that you need. Number 2, stay well hydrated. Drink all day, especially for speaking engagements or if you are using your voice a lot during the day. I usually carry around a big container of water and just try to sip on it all day. If you have dry cords, you are probably more prone to damage with your vocal cords. Now let me explain one thing. When you are drinking, of course, that water is not going down to your vocal cords, because if you did, that would be a serious problem. You would actually be aspirating your water. So that's not what we're looking at. If the inside of your mouth is well hydrated, then it almost acts like a little vaporizer to your vocal cords because you have some humidity or moisture within your mouth. And that acts as you breathe as a nice little vaporizer, moisturizing your vocal cords. Staying hydrated is essential for a clear sounding voice. My third suggestion for you is to do some vocal warm-ups. And really, humming is one of the best ways to keep this area relaxed, get your vocal cords and muscles moving in a way that will be ready for an intensive use of your voice. The fourth idea I have for you is to avoid throat clearing and coughing. Why? Well, when you do that, you are really slamming your vocal cords together, and this is going to create inflammation. There might be some inflammation there anyway. If you do have a cold and there's some nasal drip of some sort going on there, that's going to irritate the vocal cords also. But if you can learn to take a drink of water or suck on a lozenge or cough in a way that isn't harmful, which will be another video that I'd like to make for you, instructing you how to do that, then it will really help your voice to stay clear. My fifth tip for you today is that if you have to speak louder, and we all speak louder at some point, just be sure that your pitch doesn't go up too. If you remember from before, when I was explaining about your vocal cords, when we get louder, we apply more force from our diaphragm, the air comes up through our vocal cords, and our vocal cords slam together harder. Now, if you are increasing your pitch, remember your vocal cords are thinner and longer. And if you are increasing your pitch and speaking loudly, they are really more likely to become damaged over the long run. So be careful that your pitch doesn't go up when you are getting louder. Be sure to watch that and listen. Try to stay at the same pitch that you always talk when you get louder. Tip number 6 is plain and simple. If you have to speak louder for over a period of time, I suggest that you take breaks. Taking breaks will give your voice a chance to recuperate and relax for a little bit before you speak louder again. So just take some breaks. And finally, number 7, be sure to work with somebody, a professional such as a voice coach or a speech pathologist, to make sure that you are using all these techniques correctly. Or maybe there's something else that you might be doing that could be corrected as well. I'm sure that if you do work with somebody like that, they will suggest that you first see an ear, nose, and throat specialist, just to make sure that nothing is going on with your vocal cords. But if it's a behavioral problem, in other words, that means you are doing something, you have a behavior that you do that causes this hoarseness or the loss of voice, then a specialist might really be able to help you. Are you still unsure about whether or not you are at risk for losing your voice completely or even becoming hoarse? If you are, I have a free vocal hygiene quiz to find out if you are at risk. It's below in the description. You can click on that and go take a quiz about your voice and how you take care of it. If you do that, you also will receive a free lesson on how to keep your voice vocally healthy. And don't forget, if you like this information and want to learn more about how your speech, language, and voice skills contribute to your communication and all sorts of how-tos on how to take care of them and different strategies you can use to be a more effective communicator, please subscribe for more great information below.